Hello, New Orleans Saints fans. I am Todd Graffagnini, and it's time for our first edition of Know Your Enemy. We'll do this throughout the NFL season, going behind enemy lines and talking with other media members from our opposing markets. Of course, this week, it's hard to believe, first game of the season, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And we'll be joined by former ABC 26 reporter here in New Orleans. She's a sports anchor and reporter in Tampa, Karen Loftus. Well, Karen, let's just get right into this thing. The obvious storyline here is Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski together again. They won championships in New England. Now they're in Tampa here. And the question is, do they get right back into the old routine? There's no preseason games. Have they developed the chemistry again from what you've been able to see in camp and through reports?
It seems that they have. It seems that they've picked up right where they left off. And it helped also that Tom Brady organized those off-season workouts at one of the local prep schools at Berkeley Prep. So they got a feel for things over the summer. And then I think the added bonus is not only the rapport with Tom and Gronk that's come back very quickly. I mean, when you have a rapport with somebody and play with them for that long, win 3 Super Bowls, it's going to come back fairly quickly. But the other thing is that Gronkowski's been an asset in helping the other guys on the Bucs understand how Tom plays, understand how he operates and what he expects from his receivers, tight ends, running backs, and the like. So I think he's sort of been the interpreter, I guess, if you will. And also on the other side of it for Brady, he's been a little bit maybe of like a safety blanket. I don't care if it's a new job, a new team, anything. When you're in a new environment, having somebody who's a sense of familiarity and somebody you have such a good rapport with, there's a comfort level to that. So I think that it's been beneficial for both Tom and Gronk and obviously all the other offensive pieces around them.
Let's switch sides now to the defense. And you talked about some of those names as well. And look, they were very talented on paper last year, and you talked about some of them. Yet, they were at the bottom of the league nearly in points allowed at 28 per game. Now, was most of that attributed to the turnovers they committed on offense? Because the numbers that they allowed giving up don't match the talent on the field.
Correct. And I think it does have to do with how the offensive side of the ball performed. People forget that they were the top-ranked rush defense in the league last season. They were very good against the run. Also, in takeaways, they were 5th in the league in takeaways. They had 28 takeaways. But again, if you offset that with the interceptions, when you have 30 interceptions as an offense, then you're going to end up minus 13 in turnover differential. So I think a struggling offense overshadowed a really good defense. And, you know, they just have such good weapons on that team. And even just talking to Shaq Barrett, a lot of those guys, especially Shaq Barrett, give a lot of credit to Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, and how he's been able to utilize his players and put them in a situation to maximize their potential.
All right, we're going to leave this segment with this. And again, thank you so much for joining us. You're in a very unique situation in the sense that you have covered Saints training camp for a number of years with ABC 26. So you're very aware of what's going on in New Orleans. Now you're in Tampa. The situations are so similar, especially when you look at the last 2 years here in New Orleans, which you, of course, covered. Expectations were through the roof. Super Bowl or bust. I feel the same thing happening now in Tampa. What do you see and feel as far as the attitude of the players and the fan base in Tampa when you're talking about expectations?
I like that you pointed that out because that was one of the things that I noticed. The Saints had the talent and it was just incredible. And now we're in a situation here where, you know, at the start of this discussion, you rattled off all of their offensive weapons and then you can get into the defensive side of the ball too. So it's that same feeling that these guys know in that locker room what they have. But they also know, as much excitement as there is, they also know that a stacked roster doesn't automatically give you wins. They have all said, yes, we have got the pieces, but now we have to go out, we have to execute and live up to that potential. So it's very similar in that regard. And I think that's a good place to be for these guys, that they don't think that these wins are just going to fall into their lap. And as far as the fans, it's just been such an interesting season because think about it. You would see most of the fan reaction and the hype around it at training camp if they had it open to fans or if they did a fan fest. And obviously none of that has happened. So it's been really hard to get a pulse on, the excitement to maybe the extent that it is. But from what I think, I mean, how can you not be excited about what's ahead for this Bucs team? And starting back in March when they got Tom Brady and just going from there, I mean, the fans have got to be super excited about the possibilities with this Tampa Bay team.
Well, Karen Loftus, thank you so much for being with us on our initial Know Your Enemy this season. Look forward to the season. Look forward to seeing you down the road.
Thank you so much, Todd. I'm so glad that we have the best game of the week in week 1.